Great, awesome. So, Shalima, thank you so much for coming out on a weekend.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me over. You got to look for the traffic on the right.
Yeah, today, thankfully, there's
Less traffic on the
less
road.
traffic
right?
on the road.
Happy CNY.
Happy CNY. Kamshi Fachai.
Yes.
So, yeah, this area is lovely. You stay in a lovely place.
Thank you.
And I'm going to just
Beautiful and green.
turn on the wind, maybe the sound of the fans.
Okay.
And speaking of fans, you have a lot of fans in Singapore.
Oh, please, I don't know about that. I'm just working hard and doing my job. And yes, it's nice to know people recognize me somewhere, somehow. So it's good. Why is he honking? Dude, we can't go beyond 40 here anyways.
Yeah, no idea.
Impatient, huh, these days?
But anyways, okay, so the format of the show is that we just did a Hindi version of the show called Safar.
Okay.
And this is the English chapter.
All right.
And we are obviously doing it in English because of your upcoming movie that we're going to talk about very soon.
Right.
But the idea is to reach out to as wide an audience and hopefully engage, inspire, speaking to achievers, speaking to creators. And you're definitely one of those.
Thank you. That just made my Saturday morning great.
Just before we move on to talking more about the movie, tell me, you're a Delhi girl, is it?
Not really, because my dad was in the Indian Air Force.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah, I was born in Jorhat, Assam. I'm a Punjabi.
Okay.
And I've traveled all over India. So I've done 13 years of schooling in 8 different schools. So yeah, definitely not from Delhi. I'm
My God.
basically from all over India.
From all over India. That's
Yes.
awesome. And so how does this happen that a girl who has traveled all through India, when she starts her career, she starts from fashion designing, then moves on to being a cabin crew, then comes to Singapore, gets into recruitment, then gets into establishing a company for performing artists. I mean, that's an eclectic journey, and maybe I'm sure I've missed out a couple things here.
But I'm quite impressed at your research. Huh?
I've done the research.
Yes, I know. I was like, okay, so you've hit all the main points in my career.
It was fascinating. And I just really love that because my journey has been something like that as well. But from your perspective, how important is it for someone young to be able to find that path early on in their lives, or is it okay to move through different hops and then realize maybe much later in the life what is it that you want to do, pros and cons of both?
Right. So I think to each his own. To begin with, I think there are 2 kind of people. One who know exactly what they want to be right from childhood and just go after that, right?
Yeah.
So they don't even try other things. They are so clear in their head about what exactly is it that they want from life. And sometimes, most of the times it works out because they're so clear in their head. Sometimes it backfires as well because, they've created this huge persona about what they want to be, and once they actually get down to doing it, it's not as exciting as they thought it was. Second kind of people are like me, who go with the flow, and because I was in, my dad was in the Air Force and we were in a transferable job, and we had exposure to different kinds of a lifestyle and different kinds of things. So right in the beginning, I wanted to be an actor. Okay, so that was my first thing at 5 years of age.
Nice.
And that's when I realized, maybe not that easy. And then finally, after all the postings, we settled down in Delhi. And Delhi doesn't have much of a scope. So
in those days, yeah.
Yeah, even now I think
even
it's
now,
quite
I guess
limited.
for acting,
For
maybe,
acting, it's mainly Mumbai.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let's go with the flow. Someone came and said, such a waste of time doing just graduation. You should do fashion designing and you'll get a job. And I was so scared of the ragging scene in Delhi. So just to escape ragging, I said, okay, actually fashion designing doesn't sound bad. And I couldn't draw crooked line crooked. I was so terrible. The only thing that kept me going was hard work. So, my only strength sometimes I feel is working hard. And then if you are there, you can achieve anything in life with that one quality.
Yeah.
At least for me, it's worked. We need to take a right. Oh, sorry, I should have told you earlier.
Sorry, now we have to go straight.
Yeah, now let's go straight.
That's what life is.
Yep.
If you missed it, don't worry. Just go on straight. You'll find your way.
Yeah, we probably just take a U-turn somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to my life story. And so I just went with the flow, did fashion designing, somehow cleared that. Then one day someone walked in, my parents' friends, and said, "Oh my God, Shalima's so tall. You should try for the airlines." And I'm like, interesting idea. Why not? So there's no harm trying. Why not? Kind of attitude. I said, okay, let's give it a shot. Got through. Flew.
And then there was no kind of any guidance from your parents, considering your father was in the Air Force?
No, so they were always very supportive of anything and everything I wanted to do.
Okay.
Right? So even when I started modeling or wanted to do acting, my dad was taking me around for auditions. And then I realized no point, troubling dad after I've done fashion designing. Let me just work towards that. So I joined airlines, and then suddenly I was like, you know what? I want to join the Air Force. And up until that time, it was only pilots, women pilots who were in the Air Force.
Okay.
During my time, there were other women allowed if they did a post-graduation. So that thing opened up during my time. So I enrolled for MA. I said, okay, let's do post-graduation and join the Indian Air Force. So that is not mentioned anywhere in my interviews.
Yeah.
I was so passionate about doing that. And so, joined that also. Meanwhile, I was like, okay, let's do business management now that I'm doing my MA also. Let's gather degrees. All of this always adds value to your life. And so I did that as well. After flying, in between that, I got married. And then doing all that 4 o'clock shifts in the morning, flying to, Kulu, Manali, Jammu, Jaipur, all of that. I was like, no, it's too tiring, too boring. And I'd come back home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, sleep until 6. Said, okay, now time to get a proper, 9 to 5, 10 to 6 kind of a job. And I was at a loss that, what do I do now? After flying, after doing fashion designing. And so someone said, you've been a cabin crew, so PR is a very good line. So I joined Perfect Relations. Oh man, I had no idea, that they're gonna treat us like fachas and train us in every field, which I'm so thankful for now because it's helping me now in Dreamcatchers, making press releases, sending it out to media houses and interviews and all of that came with it, that ragda patti as they say. So I learned a lot in those 6-8 months of being with Perfect Relations. Everything that I did added so much value to my life, and that's how it makes an entrepreneur what an entrepreneur is.
Correct.